There was one more thing, although I'm not sure how important it is. According to one of the documents Archer photographed, it seems the Baron's wife changed her surname some time ago.
Really? So her maiden name isn't McLean?
It's Farnsworth.
Felicity Farnsworth? Are you quite sure?
Positive. Do you know of her?
Aye, that I do. When she was 8 years old, her father, a wealthy banker, was involved in a nasty public scandal involving unmentionable acts with a 12-year-old boy.
How dreadful.
Mr. Farnsworth committed suicide shortly thereafter. Felicity and her mother, by all accounts a vapid socialite, were ruthlessly ostracized by their peers, guilt by association, presumably. Furthermore, rather than inheriting the fortune she expected, Mrs. Farnsworth discovered that her late husband had left the family in inescapable debt. She went quite mad. Several days after being institutionalized, she hung herself.
My word, that poor child.
Felicity fell into the custody of an elderly aunt whose lifestyle was apparently rather more severe than she was accustomed to. About a year later, the aunt took a fatal tumble down the stairs.
Foul play?
No mention was ever made.
What happened to the girl?
She ended up with a foster family where she remained until she was 14. One night she went out her bedroom window and was never seen again. Or at least no one recognized her.
Astonishing.
Where did you learn so much about her?
I studied her.
Come again?
I believe I first read about her in a gossip column. I was intrigued by the similarities in our background, so I dug deeper.
What similarities?
Well, we both came from wealthy families. We were both orphaned at a relatively early age. Our fathers both killed themselves, although for very different reasons. We were both plunged into undesirable circumstances and resorted to rather desperate measures to survive. I found it quite uncanny at the time, although in retrospect I think we had less in common than I once believed.
Adversity is the truest test of character. The strong are strengthened by it, the weak made weaker. It sounds like this Baroness didn't have the wherewithal to cope with her misfortunes. It's a common trend among terrorists and bullies that they imagine themselves persecuted by fate and therefore feel justified in harming others.
You're frothing.
Sorry, I get carried away.
She's involved somehow.
The Baroness? Upon what unimpeachable evidence are you basing that supposition?
I just have a feeling.
Ah, then the case is as good as closed.
I don't expect you to believe me, but I'll count on you to say something smug if I'm right.
It's virtually guaranteed.
I'm not smug. Acerbic, perhaps, maybe even sardonic, but not smug.
Okay, sure, whatever you need to tell yourself.
I have to agree with her, Smith.
Don't either of you have work to do?
Aye, sir. Off I go.
Good luck.
Welcome to Advanced Field Tactics. We've a new perfume for you. This one's a real scorcher. It's a concentrated acid gas with a jelly base to make it sticky. You definitely don't want to get it on you. Here's a spiffy new device that should make dealing with security cameras less of an ordeal. When fastened to a camera, it generates a still image from the camera's viewpoint that should convince a casual watcher that he's seeing an empty room. Attach a camera disabler to this security camera. Excellent. Riding a motorcycle is easier than you might suspect. To get on, simply walk up and activate it. Hit activate again to dismount. Hit the forward key to accelerate, backward to brake, and the left and right turn or sidestep keys to steer. You can also steer with the mouse if you prefer. You will decelerate automatically if you release the forward key. Traction will generally be better on harder surfaces. Although you cannot use weapons while riding a motorcycle, you're not completely vulnerable. Ramming an enemy at speed is an effective way to clear a path.